Hey, thanks everybody for coming. I think I know just about everybody, but I'm Gary Martinez, the county manager. Thank you all for coming. And we're here today to celebrate a significant milestone in Summit County's efforts to address the workforce housing shortage in Summit County. That milestone is the acquisition of this Lake Hill parcel. There is much more work to do, but you can't do a good housing project without land to build on. So this is a key acquisition, a key milestone. A quick history about this acquisition. We at the county and with our friends at the town of Frisco, and I see Bill Efting is here somewhere, worked hard over the years to try to develop a plan to acquire this property. And right now I'm going to announce new legislation to disallow all horns on I-70. So starting over, so the acquisition is an important milestone for Summit County's efforts. The county had worked hard with Frisco to find some ways to acquire this land, and frankly, we're not having much success. We're approached by our good friend Tom Glass and Western Land Group with a different plan, which involved drafting legislation and getting that legislation approved in Congress so that the county could buy the property from the Forest Service and then get on with our work on housing. In order to do that, we obviously had to have a lot of assistance from a lot of different agencies, and the very first individual to stand up and really come to bat for Summit County was our 2nd Congressional District Congressman Jared Polis, here today to provide a few words from Congressman Polis is Nisa Erickson, and I'll ask Nisa to come up right now. And she's right here.
Thank you. Thank you, Gary. Thank you all for inviting Congressman Polis to be a part of the celebration today. He's hard at work back in D.C., so I'm honored to be here on his behalf. This legislation really truly was the result of a community-driven effort to create housing opportunities for people who work but can't afford to live in our mountain community. Jared is pleased to work closely with the U.S. Forest Service, our local towns, Summit County, and our environmental groups to craft this legislation. As we face growing housing needs across his district, this serves as an example of finding creative solutions to a local problem and working with and across local and federal government entities. It is a prime model of how to work with one another and proves that we can indeed solve problems. Jared extends his heartfelt congratulations to everyone here today, and this truly is a milestone that we are so excited to celebrate with you all. So thank you.
Thank you, Nisa. And of course, we had a lot of other assistance from our delegation. Michael Bennett, Senator Michael Bennett, is represented by Noah Corper. And of course, Mark Udall's office was very much involved in getting this legislation pushed through Congress. But Noah's here representing Senator Bennett. Noah, a few words from you.
There you go. No, you're good. Thanks, Gary. Michael is also over in D.C. Trying to get work done at least. So I'm here, and just a few words from my boss. Congratulations to Summit County and all of the project leaders on today's announcement. The sale of the Lake Hill parcel and the beginning of the development process marks a great breakthrough in a forward-thinking project that has been many years in the making. I wish I could be here today to help you acknowledge this milestone in person. As you all know entirely too well, the high cost of workforce housing is a challenge that naturally develops when growing world-class mountain communities like Frisco, Silverthorne, and Breckenridge in our small, high-elevation mountain valleys. But this can be overcome through innovative partnerships and effective planning by local leaders. The Lake Hill project is a prime example of a creative solution to this challenge, which is why I was proud to work with Senator Udall to pass legislation to ensure that the federal government could be a willing and supportive partner in your efforts. Thank you to everyone who is helping to make this a reality. Today, your hard work has certainly paid off. Thank you. Sincerely, United States Senator Michael Bennett.
Thank you, Noah, and thanks so much to Senator Bennett. Okay. We work very closely here in Summit County with our Forest Service friends, the Dillon Ranger District and the White River National Forest, and they are absolutely instrumental in this entire acquisition. They have been helpful, coordinating. They've done everything we could possibly ask for, and I am really proud to introduce Scott Fitzwilliams, who will introduce his team, make a few words, and actually make this acquisition official. So let's get on with it. Thank you, Scott.
Thank you, Gary. You know, when this process started, when we started talking about legislation, I was told for two reasons this isn't going to happen. I was told by my superiors, you're not going to get legislation through this Congress, and Summit County isn't going to give up 1 square inch of national forest land. And so this is a testament that governments, if they work together and find a common goal, can solve problems. And I am just really proud of what we were able to accomplish working together. As I go around the forest and being the resort forest that we are, every single county that I speak to at our large counties, the biggest issue they have is affordable housing, and we're the biggest landowner. And finding ways to be able to do this has been extremely rewarding. And these are the things that I think benefit communities for obviously decades to come. I'd like to introduce some of my staff that is here. Carol Huey, our lands program manager. Greg Rosenmerkel, our engineering and facilities and fleet staff, and then Paul Semmer, I call him the vice mayor of Summit County, longtime Dillon District employee. And mostly thanking the delegation. We couldn't have got this done without you, and I just really appreciate the effort. Look forward to breaking ground someday, soon I hope, and being part of this great event. Gary, thanks. Oops.
So, Scott, I guess we're not going to lift this up and hand it to the commissioners, but folks, this is an identical copy of the patent that Summit County received. It is now recorded. The property is ours, but it just seems fitting that Scott just, a high five or something, yeah.
Glad we got it done.
Okay. Dan Gibbs is going to be next and has quite a few thank yous, introductions, and so on. Dan.
Great. Thanks, Gary, and thanks everyone for being here. This is definitely a long time in the works, and there are a lot of folks standing here today that really helped make this happen. And I want to thank the many partners that were involved with this, starting with U.S. Forest Service, Scott Fitzwilliams, and your staff. We all know that U.S. Congress is more or less starving the U.S. Forest Service. And when you look at Summit County and the beautiful backdrop and the surroundings that we have, they need resources to take care of managing their lands. And we figured out a creative way to look for taking care of the U.S. Forest Service needs and their employees while looking at our greater community needs. So that's a very unique partnership. And I also want to mention one of his employees that's maybe equal, I'm not sure where he's at in the hierarchy, but Doug Crandall is a legislative director for the U.S. Forest Service in Washington, D.C., so he was really great to work with. Congressman Polis, former Senator Mark Udall, Senator Michael Bennett, they were all just so helpful to us. Nisa, Noah, you guys on the ground. Wendy Adams for Senator Udall's office in D.C., she was just extremely helpful. Working with the town of Frisco, really our vision was to partner. I know Bill Efteen's here from day one to work with the town of Frisco, and we look forward to working with you on the future of this. Many thanks to Tom Glass. Tom has over 30 years of it. Let's give Tom a round of applause. Tom, I worked in D.C. for 3 years, and I go back to D.C. with Tom on some occasions working on this proposal, and Tom knows everyone. We walked into Energy and Natural Resources Committee staff, Natural Resources Committee staff on the House side and the Senate side. He absolutely knew everyone, so you could run for mayor of that city of Washington, D.C. if you want. But he has a creative mind that really helped us get through this. And also, but most importantly, I want to thank the citizens of Summit County for recognizing and sharing the same vision that us 3 county commissioners have, that local Summit County residents should be able to work where they live and live where they work. And this is a real positive step forward in achieving our greater community goals. And with that, I think I hand it to either Thomas or Karn to say a few words too. Great, thank you everyone.
Yeah, so workforce housing is one of our biggest challenges. It always has been, right? It's never been easy to get a place to live here that's affordable. But that challenge is getting greater and greater. And so the acquisition of this parcel, our ability to move forward with regards to workforce housing, is really important for the future of Summit County. We did a needs assessment of housing back in 2013 and identified that we're going to need over 1,000 units of affordable housing here just in the next 5 years. And this site doesn't completely take care of that, but boy, it's a big step forward. And I think that the partnerships that we develop amongst ourselves to get this done are really, really important. And so I want to recognize that Copper Mountain is here. Our ski resorts are a huge partner in terms of our efforts on workforce housing. And I think that Copper was the first people that first looked at this piece of land and said, I wonder if we could ever get that from the Forest Service. So that's an important acknowledgement. And the one thing that I'll leave y'all with is this is an expensive proposition, right? And so I think that in the years ahead, we're going to be looking at some of the resources that we're going to need in order to solve this problem. But boy, oh boy, this is a huge step forward. And I'm going to turn the mic over to Karn now to talk about some of the next steps.
Thank you all. This is so exciting. And what I'm going to talk about is moving forward. We now have the parcel of land after years of collaboration with many, many partners to make this happen. But we actually want to put some housing on this site. So the next steps moving forward. We have actually chosen Quorum Real Estate Group to lead a multi-disciplined, talented group of people, including Gorman and Company, Norris Design, Shopworks Architecture, Studio PBA, and Tetra Tech, to get all of the infrastructure, the architecture, the actual planning in place. So that's our next step. And I'm excited to say that we also, most importantly, want to hear from our community. So we'll be reaching out, and we want to hear from our workforce and our young people who we would like to see living here. So coming April, we'll be reaching out to the community and trying to get that input so that we can have a community that really works for people who want to live here. And with that, Gary Martinez.
Okay, so Karn talked about the future. Again, this was a milestone. It's now behind us. We own the property, and now it's time to do something with us. Again, Karn talked about the future. We have hired our team, and I'm just going to ask for one more speaker to come up, Eric Compa from Quorum Real Estate. Look forward to a lot more on Lake Hill in the next several weeks, several months. We'll be planning, completing a lot of different efforts. We'll be involving the community to a great extent, and Eric can talk a little bit more about that.
Thanks, Gary. On behalf of the team, very much like to say thank you for the opportunity to be part of this very transformative project. Also like to applaud the county and their efforts, their dedication, foresight, and proactive approach to solving the need for community housing, because that's what this project is all about, housing and the community. Over the next several months, we're very excited to embark upon a very transparent and collaborative process with all members of the community to really create a vision and plan for this parcel that embraces the current philosophy and ideals of the community while also creating a plan that is grounded in reality and is ultimately executable and buildable. So we're excited about the prospects here and look forward to working with all of you. Thank you.
And folks, that is it. We felt it was very important to kind of, again, celebrate. We've done it. Thanks so much for coming this morning, and look forward to a lot more in Lake Hill in the next several weeks and months. Thank you.